Hi, welcome to live stream yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's practice is all about seeing and recognizing the things, and it's often the little things that can make a difference in your life on and off the mat. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, take a rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to take a stand facing the top end of the mat, feet in a comfortable parallel line, arms relaxed at our side, and we'll begin to release into the neck. Thinking of looking over the shoulder, one at a time, for maybe 5 rounds. Thinking of tracing a no pattern with the neck. And then translating that pattern into more of a yes pattern, looking up and down. Keeping that tall stand with the arms beautifully relaxed at our sides, body nice and tall. Then begin to move dynamically between those 4 points, tracing a little circle with the tip of your nose. Moving for roughly 5 traces in one direction. And then 5 in the opposite direction. Coming to stillness, center aligned, and finding your way into a roll down pattern. Peeling down and up through the spine. Looking for a contraction in the belly as you peel down. And then unraveling that contraction as you peel back up. Inhaling to prep, exhaling for the roll down, taking a recovery inhale, and then exhaling to peel back up. Finding your rhythm, working with your breath. One more like this, and then we'll change our orientation on the mat and we'll set ourselves up for a little bit of a wider leg stance, step plie line. As you take a step to the back end of the mat and start to bend and extend through the legs. Arms could be on the tops of your thighs, they could be placed on your hip creases. We're going to hold the next one as low as you can for 10. Then extend the legs and find your way back to your original stand at the top end of the mat. We're going to open up the hands, palms up, and we're going to trace little circles with the tips of our fingers, keeping that rotation through the forearm. Then trace your circle in the opposite direction. Come to stillness and then rotate your hands, palms down, lock that in, and start to trace that circle again with the tips of your fingers. Roughly 10 traces in one direction and then 10 in the opposite. Bleed your arms down and find that roll down pattern. Roll back up and then give me an angel wing, floating the arms up and down. Roll it down. Angel wing. Roll down. Angel wing. Let's do one more, then we'll find our way back into that plie work. Finding your step out line, making sure that the toes are splayed out. We're going to plie down and back up. Keeping our tailbone tucked underneath the carriage of our trunk. We're going to end low, we're going to hold it. And then we're going to do little pulses, trying to keep as low as we can to the mat. Straighten up the legs and find your way back to your original stand at the top end of the mat. Tuck the hands loosely behind the head. We're going to rotate left, and then we're going to open and reach through the arms to come back to the middle and do the same to the second side and start to find an alternating pattern working side to side. Thinking of keeping still, belly button down, rotating and opening up, belly button up. Find your rhythm. Halfway, 5 more to go. And look over that back arm as you're reaching and opening through the arms. Last one. We're going to bring it back into our roll down pattern after this. Arms relax at your side. Roll it down. Roll it back up. And then one single leg lift side to side. Halfway. Find your way from here back into your plie line. We're going to plie down and then straighten up through the legs. We're going to end low. We're going to hold it. Keep that low hold and start to heel lift on the one side. And in the heel lift, hold it and pulse up and down. Then reground to straighten up and begin to plie again, up and down. We're going to end low, we're going to hold it. Keep that low hold and start to heel lift on the second side. And in the heel lift, hold it, start to pulse. Peel back up, find your way back to the top end of the mat. And we're going to tick-tock slide and reach, dropping down the arm and then reaching up to about shoulder height. And we're going to play tick-tock style, side to side. Let's allow ourselves 5 more repeats. 5 more set repeats, that is. Last one. We're going to find our way from here back into our roll down pattern. Roll back up. Double heel lift. Rinse and repeat. Last set, then we're going to find our way back into our plie line. And we're going to double up and work both sides this time. Begin your plies up and down. End low, hold it. Then double heel lift. End in the heel lift, teeny tiny pulses. Then reground to straighten up and find your way from here into a tall staff seat at the top end of your mat. We're going to bring our hands together in an active prayer push, feet just inside of hip width distance apart, and we're going to lean front and back. Keep pressing into those palms so that you can feel those pecs and the shoulders working. Keep a soft but active brace into your feet. Keep a long line through your trunk. We're going to end center aligned, and we're going to lift and hold the right leg up. Keep the staggered leg position and give me a fall back into a hold. Keep both feet braced. Hold that staggered line. Keep those feet braced and start to walk. Holding the hollow hold. Then rock up. Find your way into a boat hold. Either holding onto the backs of your thighs, hold fingers to floor, or holding that prayer position through the arms. Back to your tall seat. Keep pressing into the palms as you find your seesaw forwards and backwards. Center align, single leg lift on the left, hold it. Fall back into your hollow hold. Lower and mid back imprinted, shoulders off the mat, abs engaged. Start to walk holding your hollow hold. Then release onto the mat. Bend your knees, ground your feet. We are coming into a pelvic tilt. We're going to begin in neutral. We're going to tilt to 12. We're going to hold that tilt, imprinting the lower and the mid back. Tailbone feels like it's just beginning to peel off the mat. Release back to neutral. Then tilt to 6 o'clock. So it feels like you're arching a little bit more through the lower back. Hold that tilt at 6, getting a little stretch into the belly. Release to neutral. Then tilt the right hip bone so that it feels like you're lifting up on the left side of the pelvis. Hold it. Release to neutral. Now dip the left hip bone so that you're lifting higher on the right and hold it. Back to neutral. Let's repeat one more time. Tilt to 12, hold it. Neutral. Tilt to 6, hold. Neutral. Dip on the right, hold. Neutral. Dip on the left, hold it. Back to neutral. One more set. 12 o'clock. Neutral. 6 o'clock. Neutral. Dip on the right. Neutral. Dip to the left. Hold it. Back to neutral. We're going to find a grounded 100. Big breath into prep. On an exhale, tilt to 12. Keep that imprint. Bleed your shoulders and your head and your arms off the mat. Lock that scoop in and then start your rapid fire beat through the arms. Inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 5. Keeping your arms long and reaching. Last one. Peel back down, reconnecting head, shoulders, and arms to the mat. Give yourself a recovery breath. And then when you're ready, use an echo of a tilt to pull both legs up to the 90 position, tabletop position, keeping an active brace into your heels. We're going to play with some heel, not toe, heel drops, either halfway or all the way to the mat. A single on either side, and then a double. Single, single, double. Single, single, double. Begin to find your rhythm, and we're shooting for roughly 10 full sets. Let's do one more set. Then start to trace a reverse cycle. Nice and slow. Starting head and shoulders on the mat, then peeling head and shoulders off the mat and pressing into your palms. End with your left leg extended, right bent, hold it. Start to cycle again. End with your right leg extended, left leg bent. Reground to the mat, bringing the feet and the knees together along the midline. We're going to clam line open and close, keeping the feet together. Then we're going to do a femur opening, opening up the legs into a V and squeezing them shut, keeping a soft but active brace into our feet. Last one. Reground to the mat, roll over onto your side. We are going to marry the last two movement patterns together. So we're going to assume a low to the mat position today. We're going to start with a combination clam movement. We'll keep the feet together as we open the knees, close, and then lift the whole top leg. So one clam, one femur lift. One clam, one femur lift. Let's shoot for 7 more repeats. Last one. We're going to end in the femur lift, and then we're going to trace a big hydrant circle with that top lip. Keep your belly button pulled in. Let's do 10 traces in the opposite direction. Keep belly to spine. Last trace. Then stack your legs one on top of the other. We're going to keep the bottom arm tucked underneath our head, and we're going to extend the top arm, more or less at shoulder height. We're going to take a big breath in. We're going to open up the top arm. We're going to revolve through the trunk as we drop the arm to the mat behind, and then close again. And we're going to shoot for roughly 10 repeats. We are going to end in the open position, and then we're going to hold that twist for a soft count of 10. Then halfway close that top arm and start to play. We're going to rotate through the forearm to tap fingers to floor overhead, and then rotate as we come back. So there's a soft rotation through the forearm that we play with. Rotating towards the head as we tap overhead, and then rotating away from the head as we come back to our halfway mark. And we're going to shoot for roughly 10 repeats. Let's do one more to tap overhead and hold that stretch, breathing into the open side of your rib cage for 10. Then find your way from here onto the belly. We are going to stack the forearms, one on top of the other, and we're going to assume a slight turnout position on the legs. We're going to relax our forehead to the back of our hands, and we are going to execute the double leg lift, looking to activate those glutes and keep that slight turnout position through the legs. And in the lift, hold it. And then begin to squeeze, pulse the two heels towards one another, keeping that turnout position. Squeeze into the center line with the heels and hold it. Then find your way from here into a tripod 4-point kneeling position with your big toes together and the knees wide. We're going to trace a little circular hula with the body for 5 in one direction. And then 5 in the opposite direction, keeping belly to spine. Come to stillness and give me some dynamic cat-cows. I will work at a 1-to-1 inhalation to exhalation ratio. Shooting for roughly 5 repeats, and then find your way to a neutral line. Big breath in. We're going to float the right arm up to the sky. Hold it. And then on an active exhale, we're going to thread, coming to rest on our left ear, and we're going to hold, keeping that tripod frame through the legs throughout. Stay here or begin to look for more of an L frame through the arms. Walking your right arm into extension, pressing into that right palm, holding the stretch. Then bleeding your way back to your tripod 4-point kneeling frame, finding that little hula circle through the trunk. 5 hulas in one direction, and then 5 in the opposite. Coming to stillness, center aligned, and finding your cat-cow for 5, working at a 1-to-1 ratio. Coming to stillness and table, taking a big breath in, floating your right arm up to the sky, hold that stretch. Then when you're ready, thread. Stay here or begin to creep your left arm into extension, pressing into that palm, holding the stretch, keeping belly to spine, and trying to keep your hips stacked softly over your knees. Find your way from here back to a 4-point kneel, lead up into a seat, and then change sides. Taking a seat and then easing your way down to the mat. Remember, we're working low to the mat. We're going to bend and stack the legs, and we're going to start to play one clam, one femur lift, keeping belly to spine and shooting for roughly 10 repeats. We are going to end in the femur lift, and then we're going to trace a big hydrant circle for 10 in one direction. Then 10 in the opposite direction. Then stack the legs one on top of the other. We're going to keep the bottom arm bent. We're going to extend the top arm. And we're going to open the book and close the book for 10. Looking for that rotation through the trunk and following the movement of the top arm with our eyes and our head. We are going to end in the open position, and we're going to pause there, just breathing into the open side of our ribs. Then we're going to close the book halfway. We're going to rotate the palm in towards our head. We're going to tap fingertips overhead. Come back to our halfway mark and rotate the forearm away. And we're going to play here for 10. Looking for those little teeny tiny movements that can make all the difference to where and how you're stretching, controlling, toning, shaping. Let's end in the overhead tap. Let's pause here and let's breathe into the open side of our ribs, keeping belly to spine. And when you're ready, you're going to roll over onto your belly. You're going to bend and stack the arms. You're going to find a turn-out position through the legs. And when you're ready, you're going to execute a double leg lift, keeping the turn-out position. We're going to end in the lift. We're going to hold it. Then begin to squeeze pulse the heels. Ending the squeeze, hold it. Release back down to the mat and find your way into a tripod 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Big toes together, knees wide, and start to trace that lazy hula circle, leaning into the arms and the knees. 5 traces in one direction, and then 5 in the opposite, keeping belly to spine throughout. Come to stillness, center aligned, and begin to cat-cow, holding that tripod frame for 5. Come to stillness in a long tabletop stretch. Take a big breath in. Float the left arm up to the sky. Hold that stretch. Then when you're ready, thread. Coming to rest on your left ear. Stay here, hips stacked over your knees. Or maybe you'd like to creep the right arm out. Walk those fingertips out as far as they can go, pressing into the pad at each finger so that you're feeling an awesome stretch all the way from the tips of your right fingers to the shoulder. And maybe you're even feeling it transferring down the right side of your rib cage through the pecs. Then walk your way back to a tripod 4-point kneel and find that little lazy hula for 5. Then change your hula, tracing for 5 in the opposite direction, keeping belly to spine. Come to stillness, big breath in, float the right arm up to the sky, holding. Keeping that tripod frame through your legs throughout. When you're ready, thread on an exhale. Keep your hips loosely stacked over your knees and your belly button pulled in. Maybe start to add arm creep on the left, pressing into those digits, holding the stretch, feeling the transfer through your pecs, down the left side of your ribs. Then creep your way back. Keep that tripod frame through the legs and walk back into a tall kneel. Arms start relaxed at your side. Palms are looking towards the top end of the mat. We're going to angel wing up. We're going to come down in active prayer. We're going to steeple press up. And we're going to angel wing back down. Inhale to angel wing. Exhale to press down along the center line. Inhale to steeple press. Exhale to angel wing. Start to find your rhythm. You can even close your eyes and make this a soft meditation to end off today's practice. And we're shooting for roughly 10 repeats. Make this your last round. And we'll end with the arms relaxed at our side, nodding chin to chest to add off today, or rather to close off today's practice. Thank you so much for coming out and for playing with me today. Till next time, keep it light.